Welcome to Film Juice, everyone. That's the intro right there. We gotta find them. If we talked about the Where's Wally
No, I don't think
intro
so.
on this show, uh, well, for those of you who are uneducated, there was a great show called Where's Wally, that is about Waldo from the
Right.
hit books
The
Where's Waldo.
13 episode cartoon in 1991, I think.
Yeah, it was
And it
91.
followed Waldo from Where's Waldo, aka Wally, and his dog as they are gifted a magical stick by a wizard, played by Brad Garrett, the brother from Everybody Loves Raymond, doing a Rodney Dangerfield impression.
Hell yeah.
And then they travel through space and time.
As they
And
do.
it's got an excellent opening.
Yes.
The theme song is really something special.
Where's Wally?
Where's Wally? Where's Wally?
You gotta find him.
You gotta find him.
I'm pretty sure they say that.
They definitely do at one point. I feel like there's another like middle range pitched voice that says something towards the end of the intro.
It's so funny. It's just it's the jazziest intro you ever want. I mean, Film Juice is gonna hire those guys. They're probably still alive. So
I bet you
we'll get that going.
See.
We're gonna get right into it. So yeah, welcome to Film Juice, the show where we talk about Where's Wally. The hit spot for all Where's Wally news. Also, we talk about movies and review them sometimes. I'm your host, Joe Dorado.
And I am Andrew Canada. And I host the show alongside your host, Joe Dorado.
And there is the signature Cherry Coke beverage. Not sponsored.
Don't say that, because I'm not drinking one of these every damn time we do this.
We're also not sponsored. And they don't need any money.
Coca-Cola?
Yeah.
I feel like the families of the people that work there might disagree, Joe.
Oh,
it's
okay.
a little insensitive.
You know what? You know what I gotta talk about right now, speaking of that?
Oh, Jesus.
Have you ever... I started watching a show, and it's called Peaky Blinders. The Peaky Blinders.
Christ.
And as soon as you said that, I was like, oh, what if the Koch family is like the equivalent to like the Peaky Blinders? The Peaky Blinders. We're the fucking Peaky Blinders. We're gonna come in your house. We're the fucking Peaky Blinders. You know that?
Looking in the window. Yeah, I've not watched that show, but
I you know what? You don't even have to watch it, and I bet you can tell that I did a spot on impression.
Yeah, I could tell that was perfect.
Yeah, like you don't even have to watch it to know. It's just we're the fucking Peaky Blinders. I swear. Oh, we're gonna give you the black hand. I'm just gonna make like a bunch of weird references.
Hand. Is that like the black spot?
Well,
like
that's actually something else in the show, but it's just funny. Yeah, it's like the black spot though. It is like the black spot, but it's a black hand.
Black spot. Okay, seems pretty similar.
Yeah, it's a great. It's a really good show though. I'm on season 4 because it's a really easy show to binge. It's only 6 episodes a season.
Jesus Christ!
It's only 6 episodes.
4?
It's only 6 episodes a season. So
that's
you just go through it. Like,
wow,
it's so good. It is like, it's easily becoming one of my favorite shows that I've like ever watched. Like, it's up there with Breaking Bad right now.
Wow.
It's really good. It's really fucking good. It's really.
You know what
good.
they got to bring back is Sherlock.
I have. That's a show that I.
Deal with that is.
I know that's a show I have to watch. I haven't watched it.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll really like it.
I heard it's really good. So I definitely want to check that out. But right now, I'm enjoying the last 2 seasons, and I'm gonna be really sad when it's over because
that show is done now. Is that right?
No, I'm pretty sure they're
still going.
Season 5 came out really recently, so I don't know. It's either the last season or they are gonna make like more. But that being said,
You got to watch Invincible.
I know. You know what's crazy? You told me about that show, and then literally the same day, uh, my friends told, like, literally you told me about it, and then my friends, like, were talking in, like, this Discord server, and they're like, oh, have you seen this show? And I'm like, everyone's talking about this show! It's just everywhere!
It's sweeping the nation.
I like how everywhere to me is 3 people. 3 people that are in my circle of...
Yeah,
of
that's what I've been telling you for, like, months.
everyone's talking about.
I was like, I hear it's very popular. It's very popular.
It's
People
that's the same. You know what? You're gonna laugh about this. The movie we're talking about today. You're the only person who I heard talk about it. The only one. The only one. There's no one else in the world who was talking about it. Only one. And then I was talking to my friend yesterday, and they're like, Joe, by the way, you have to see this movie. It's on Netflix. It's called The Mitchells versus the Machines. It's so good. It's animated by the same people. I'm like, oh, is that the one with Eric Andre? They're like, yeah. And I'm like, oh yeah, we're actually reviewing that tomorrow. They're like, Joe, it's gonna be great. You're gonna love it. And they didn't say that at all. But they did say it's really good. And yeah, so that's sweeping the nation as well. So we got some So, and I was like, oh, I saw it on #1 on Netflix, which, you know, could mean anything. But, it took place of Shadow and Bone for a week, but that's okay. That's okay. Shadow and Bone's still #2. We're still going strong with Shadow and Bone. Anyhow, that's the rant for the day. I do gotta watch Invincible, though. It's really high up there on the ratings, so.
It's really cool. And I'll tell you what, that's Stephen Yu, right,
Yeah.
from Walking Dead.
Yeah.
I never watched that show.
Mm-hmm. Did you never watch it? Like, you didn't even watch it early on?
Never watched it.
That's rare.
That guy is really fucking good. I don't know how I'm sure he's a very good actor, but, you know, in live action stuff, but he is a fucking really good voice actor, man. So.
Damn. I gotta check it out. I really do gotta check it out. I gotta check out that... God, I'm so behind. I gotta... Right when I'm done with the family business with the Peaky Blinders, I'll be moving on up. I feel like I'm gonna we're gonna turn like Film Juice into a underground betting ring, and it's just gonna go from there, and we're just gonna spiral. We're just gonna, and then next thing we know, we're gonna be doing dealings with the Russians, and then we're gonna get in way over our heads, and then we're gonna have to, you know, make more specific references to the show. But
here's the closest thing that this could ever get to that.
Okay.
I said to Matthew one day, I thought it would be hilarious if we just started betting like obscene amounts of money on Beyblades. You know Beyblades?
Yes, I know Beyblade. Who doesn't know Beyblades?
Let her rip. Let it rip.
Let it rip. What about like Bakugan? Beyblades and Bakugan.
Bakugan's stupid.
Okay, Beyblades.
Fucking anal beads rolling across the ground. That's dumb. But Beyblades is awesome.
They are awesome.
And I think it'd be so funny. Because I remember we had...
Arena?
An arena, yeah, like those cheap fucking plastic that you...
Yeah, and you pay like $30 for...
Those things were so sick, though.
Yeah.
So if we just would do wagers of like, you know, a couple $100 on like these Beyblade tournaments, I think that'd be so funny. And that is as close as this show could get to Peaky Blinders or whatever you're talking about.
I see that. Yeah, we would, and we'd have to rig them. We'd have weighted Beyblades. We'd have to rig them.
What?
Well, yeah, so like so what we would do is there would be like one Beyblade. There would be one Beyblade that we like make it so they win like 2 or 3 weeks in a row, and then everyone would start betting on that Beyblade. And then what you do is, see, I've learned a lot from Peaky Blinders. Like it's honestly like school. I'm learning more from this than I did from school. So then you have them bet on that horse that Beyblade, because they're winning, And then the third or fourth week, you rig it so they lose, and then you have all this money coming in because everyone bet big on that. It's how the cookie crumbles. It's how the cookie crumbles. I'll never trust a betting a horse race again now after watching this show. I just feel like there's just so much going on with it. But also the show like has nothing to do with horse races after like the third episode. It like has nothing to do with horse races after like the third episode. It's like, okay, we're gonna have all this other shit going on. It's a great show though. Anyway.
We don't have. I know we're crunched for time today.
Yeah.
So let's get in. There's really only one thing.
There's only one thing, and then we're
the
going into
news.
yeah.
And it's big news. They put out so here's the deal. Marvel Studios put out a trailer for Phase 4, and it's just over 3 minutes. Well, I want to explain this, Joe, because I got some thoughts on it. So
yeah,
the first just over half of the trailer.
Yeah.
Let me see. Yeah, the first minute and like 45 seconds is all about. It's just like showing things from Phase 1, or the past phases. I'm saying Phase 1 through 3, whatever.
Yeah.
Leading up to Endgame and all that stuff. Takes up more than half the trailer, so I'm like, okay, got it. We're all very well aware of what you've accomplished, and we're all huge fans of it. That's phenomenal. We know you've kind of got to pivot here into something else.
Give another clap.
Great. We have seen all this.
Yeah.
So that felt a little pointless to me. I was
they did the same thing
about it.
They did the same thing with the one Star Wars movie. I remember they just started the one trailer, one of the newer Star Wars movies. The opening, was just a minute. Like the first trailer, I think for the Rise of Skywalker was just a minute of like old shit that we've already seen. Really? And then like, yeah, I remember.
Here's what I will say is the difference with that one though is that's one movie and it's like the last movie.
Yeah.
At least that saga of a big franchise. The whole point of this trailer, well, what I thought it was going to be, is like, here's what we got. This is what's coming up for you. But no, it was like, hey, remember how we took care of you back in the day? You better stick with us, right? So, all that stuff. Minute and 50 seconds into the trailer, they get into some Phase 4 things, and they start with Black Widow, which, look, it's going to be good. No one's excited for it. Nobody cares about that movie, honestly.
Sadly, I'm in the same boat.
I mean, people were shaky on it in the first place, but since the pandemic and its massive delay, I mean, nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
And it's going to be good. We're all going to see it. Yeah. But that movie might as well be irrelevant, frankly, as far as we know. Nobody cares.
Yeah. It's just there's not much to get hyped about with it.
So that was like, boo. And then, more. So I'm just watching it right now. That the last half of it or last third, whatever.
They show the title.
All kinds of stuff going on.
They show the title card.
Yep.
Of.
So then you got Shang-Chi, and there's just a couple other shots, some of which we've seen in the trailer that was out already. Got that going. Oh yeah, and then we've got the Eternals, and we see
that's the big thing.
2, 3,
that's what we see the most of.
4. See 5 shots from the Eternals.
That's what
everybody basically gets a close up.
Yeah.
But it really tells us nothing.
Well, yeah, for sure, but that's whatever.
I can't even really get a sense of what that movie is going to be from that.
No, it's going to.
Which I wish that we could. I wish they'd shown us a little something cooler, because the coolest thing that they show in this is Angelina Jolie with a sword.
Yep.
Which looks like what I was worried about with that movie.
Really?
Yeah, like big stars and stuff. Like, I don't know. I saw it and I just like, it's just going to be so difficult. I think we'll see. Maybe they could do it. It's going to be very hard for me to suspend my disbelief every time she's on screen.
I'm surprised,
especially when she's doing all that fantasy stuff, because the only place that we've really seen her do stuff like that is Maleficent, and that movie, I've never seen those, but It's got a very distinct look, and it carries a very distinct feeling and recognition for me. So every time I see it, I'm gonna be like, okay, she's this is just Angelina Jolie doing some fantasy stuff. This is
I don't
not
know.
whatever her character
I
is.
feel like she can. I was worried about that at first, but I got kind of the opposite feeling after seeing. I don't know. It looked like she was owning it, and it looked pretty. I don't know. It looked like she's gonna fit in. Like I didn't. She didn't stand out to me. Like I remember when I was looking at the photos that came out, because like I saw the trailer, but then I just looked at like the stills really closely for a little bit, and like I didn't like her she didn't like stay. I was worried like she was just gonna stand out like a sore thumb, and in my opinion she didn't. She blended in with everyone else, which is, could be a good thing, but it could also be a bad thing. But I think it worked. So I don't know, we're gonna see. We don't know anything about it yet, but from what I've seen it looks cool, but we haven't seen anything really. Honestly, if I'm gonna be honest with you, the one who stood out to me out of everyone more than like no one else stood out to me except this person, and it was Kumail.
Yeah.
That
That's a
was the
weird.
only
Yeah,
one
he
who
looks
stood out
weird
to
in
me.
that
Yeah,
moment that they show where he's wearing the sunglasses, and I don't know what it is.
he's
Can't
the.
put my finger on it for a second, but
But
yeah,
like
you're
no
absolutely
one
right.
else, like even Angelina Jolie, like I thought she fit in, like out of like, but yeah, Kumail did not look. Um,
I was like,
he
what's
looked
going on?
fine. It just something about it like stood out, and
Selma
it was
Hayek completely blended in. Also, she didn't,
yeah.
you know.
So I don't know.
Okay,
I have hope for it.
yeah, of course, but we will see. So
Hmm.
then, just a bunch of card titles here: Spider-Man,
Yeah, I was
Doctor
bummed.
Strange with all the release
They
dates,
showed the
Thor.
Spider-Man one, and I thought they were gonna show some footage after it, and they
I know, me
didn't.
too. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
Yeah, they announced that
Captain,
date.
oh, the Marvels, which there are some like stills from that online of like the
Miss
set, which are
Miss
actually
Marvel,
pretty
right?
good. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but I guess the movie is called the Marvels. New Ant-Man movie, Guardians
Oh.
of the Galaxy. These are all they just show title cards
Mm-hmm.
with dates for the release, and then
Yeah.
at the very end of the trailer, with about 14, 15 seconds left,
Mm-hmm.
this light starts moving around,
Mm-hmm.
and it creates the image of Thor, which is what we've seen as the kind of concept poster logo
Mm-hmm.
art for the Fantastic Four, which we
Yeah.
know Marvel's going to do. Um,
It's not gonna come out for fucking ever,
it's not
but
going to come out for a very long time,
yeah.
but apparently it's going to be part of Phase 4.
Phase 4 just might be a really big phase as well, though. I heard Phase 4 is gonna go to 2023, so
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
um, that's a pretty big phase. I think that's the biggest phase, like if that's the case.
Really?
Well, phase usually the phases only last 2 years, so technically this phase 4 would be 3 years, I think.
Because of the lost year, if we count this at the
That's
lost year.
true. That's true. If we don't count 2020, it's just gonna feel longer, I think, because of 2020. Um, but like I feel like they just have to cram a lot. But
Yeah.
yeah, so just final release dates for stuff that was kind of up in the air. Eternals is going to be November 5th, 2021. Because all of these were kind of, we didn't know if they were going to get pushed back or not. Spider-Man No Way Home is going to be December 17th, 2021. It's going to be crazy. What If that actually doesn't have a official release date yet, but it's
No.
still
That's a series, anyways.
yes, but still. I'm
Disney
really
Plus
excited
series.
for that series. Still supposed to be 2021. Hawkeye, another series, still supposed to be 2021. No official date though. The Miss Marvel series, late 2021. There's a
I
lot of
thought that was
series.
a movie. Oh, there's a Miss Marvel series?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. What are the Marvels? I'm
Um,
sure it'll tie in somehow.
Doctor Strange, The Multiverse of Madness, March 25th, 2022, which is like pretty close after. Like that's a good date. That's pretty close after the Spider-Man movie, which I'm sure is gonna tie in. May 6th, 2022, Thor: Love and Thunder, which is another like pretty good release date. So then so then we got Wakanda Forever, which is July 8th, 2022. She-Hulk, which is also supposed to be 2022, which is going to be a series. The Marvels, which is what you were talking about, November 11th, 2022.
Got it.
Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, which is going to be... Now we're getting into stuff where it can change. This is supposed to be February 17th, 2023. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is May 5th, 2023. And then Fantastic Four, which there's no release date, but people are guessing July 28th, 2023. Then, which is actually sooner than I thought.
Yeah.
But that's just a guess. The other guess for another movie that people are wondering is Blade, which we haven't heard anything about since 2019. But that release date is supposedly November 3rd, 2023, which I think that's going to get pushed back to 2024. And then Deadpool, there's not even, and Captain America 4, which just got announced, and Moon Knight, like Secret Invasion, all of these, they're not even trying to guess when these are coming out. So it's going to be interesting. That's a pretty big phase, I feel like. But I think that's because we're including series now, which we've never had before. So with the series, that feels pretty fucking huge. It's going to be packed. It's going to be packed. It's going to be crazy. We're going to see. I think there's going to be a lot of... I think it's going to be a little oversaturated. Like I said, we'll see. I still haven't seen WandaVision, and I still haven't seen Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I heard they're good. I have to see them. But I'm worried, like, with all these series coming out, burnout's going to keep coming in and out. Like Hawkeye, I haven't seen anything from it. I'm not very interested in a Hawkeye series. I don't...
Yeah, gotcha.
So there's just these shows. There's some shows that I'm really excited for, and there's some that I'm not. So it's gonna suck with these shows where if they tie in super heavily into certain things in the movies, or not super heavily, but tie in enough in the movies where like I have to feel like I have to like watch an entire show that I really am not super crazy about. Because before it was just a movie. Like, Iron Man 2. Okay, it's not a great movie. You watch it for 2 hours and it's done. But this is like a whole series, so it's like... I don't know, I think the saturation and the fatigue might hit hard. But we'll see.
I don't know,
it
man,
depends.
Because I'll tell you what. I was a little fatigued, I guess, to use your word, after WandaVision.
Mm-hmm.
Winter Soldier got me right back on the train. So in a way, I think that just pumping out things is almost beneficial, because I think that as long as it's good, nobody's going to really get burned out on it.
I just got to force myself to watch them. I really do. Yeah. Like, I have
to... Watch Invincible first, and then you can watch both.
Yeah, I'd rather watch Invincible. Invincible seems more interesting to me, so I'd rather watch Invincible.
Different.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'd rather, like, it's something new. Which is what I want. I want the fresh off the press. Anyway, let's get into... That's all we got for movie news, correct? Yeah, that's all we got.
Yeah, that's all I want to talk about.
Let's, that's what we got. Yeah, that's all we got. Let's get it right into, very interesting stuff. We'll see what's going on as we hear more. The first movie today, which we've already talked about a little bit, in the intro, it's a pretty new movie, just came out on Netflix. This is a movie that kind of took me off guard, as I said. I didn't hear about it at all, and then it just came out, and now everyone's talking about it. This is... Oh, Andrew's disapproving.
Just why even... I just don't know. Why even bring that up?
Because my experience is very important. This is I'm obviously the center of this universe.
That's correct.
So yes. So let's get into it. This is the Mitchells versus the Machines. You want to go into this one, Andrew?
Sure. So it mainly follows. Well, it follows his family, the Mitchells, and the oldest daughter, Katie, played by Abby Jacobson, is headed off to college. She's kind of a weirdo, filmmaker, and there's big thing. She doesn't really get along with her dad, doesn't really understand her. So as kind of this last ditch effort to connect before she leaves, her dad cancels the flights to college and instead decides we as a family are going to take a road trip across the country to get you to school, film school in California. During this trip, who'da thunk it, robot apocalypse starts. Eric Andre's character, who owns this PAL Labs, Apple type deal, technology companies, you're familiar with them. He creates this new product that are these robot assistants. They go haywire. They start capturing all the humans, and the only humans left to save the planet is this dysfunctional family, the Mitchells. Mm-hmm. How are they going to do it, folks? Nobody knows. Great cast. Like I said, Abby Jacobson, Danny McBride plays the dad, Maya Rudolph plays the mom, and then co-writer. Did he direct this as well? Yes. Let me see. Co-director. Yes, co-writer, director, Michael Rianda.
Yep.
Plays Aaron Mitchell.
Yes.
And then you have Eric Andre, obviously, mentioned a bunch of times. Beck Bennett, Fred Armisen. Yep. Awesome.
Oh, I didn't even realize Chrissy Teigen and John Legend are.
Yeah, they're that.
Yeah, that's really funny.
Family.
That's actually really funny.
That's pretty.
That's like pretty perfect. That's like.
That's well. That's well casted.
Oh yeah, Conan was in this too. I didn't realize.
Yeah, I didn't catch his spot. I heard him. I forgot. I heard him say that he had a small thing in this movie, and then I watched it, and then I was going through IMDb making my notes or whatever, and it was like Conan. I was like, oh shit, I forgot to listen for him. Does it say what he was?
Glaxon 5000. So I don't know.
I don't know what that is.
That might have been one of the appliances. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know, but that's funny. It's like when Daniel Craig was in like Star Wars and no one knew until like he said something.
So were both princes, I think.
Yeah, so it's just crazy. So yeah, this and yeah, this is done by this. I think like you were saying, like this is done by the same team, and like the trailer, like I think it said in the trailer, it was done by the same team that did the Into the Spider-Verse and Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, which
Lord and what? Lord and whoever, those guys.
I'm trying to find it.
Produce it. They're the executive producers, but they actually I think they directed those other movies you're talking about, but they produced this one.
Okay, what was I saying? You can tell right away that it's like a weird melding.
Lord Miller.
There it is. Yes, it's a weird melding of those two movie animation styles, which is really fucking sick. And you can say what you want about Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
That it was great.
The first one I like. I think the second one, you can. But no matter what, whether you like the first one or not, or like those movies or not, the animation style is really unique and really cool. It's a really nice style, and it lends itself to a lot of laughs, a lot of like comedy elements, a lot of giggles, a lot of goofs, a lot of gags. But then they mixed it basically with this 2D element that really plays its own role in the movie, and it's just it's a great art style, and I think it fits everything with this movie perfectly well, especially with Katie's character kind of narrating and being the
Right.
it works so well. It's really cool. It's really cool. It has the same like excitement when that style like comes up on screen. You get the same excitement as you do that you got in Spider-Verse. Um, so, cause like that's how I felt whenever I saw like whenever those elements were happening on screen, there was a reason. There was like some crazy thing happening.
Yeah.
So it's just a really well done effect and a really well done element. They also, I gotta point this out. They so just really quick with the animation. The other thing I thought was really cool is Katie makes these home movies, and I thought it was so cool that they kind of, for the effects and like the style that they were going for in the movies, they use these like cardboard like cutout effects, and they like, so it was kind of like this weird like practical 2D, like it was very strange. It was like a melding of like the 3D and the 2D, and it just looked really cool, and I thought that was a really cool like added like style that they like made it, so they really made like those effects distinct from the other effects, and it really like made those, like it made it just a lot more unique when those were happening, and it could help you distinct what was the home movies and like when you were like watching the home movies. And then there's a part in the end where it all kind of melds together, and it just works it works really well. Because it's like you're kind of like seeing the fantasy. So I thought that was really cool. Not to give too much away, but
You didn't give anything away. It is
Yeah.
it is very cool. It was an interesting choice because there's when those things are happening,
hmm
it's just weird that like when we're with the family and those elements are happening, it's so obvious that we're seeing what's happening in Katie's head, right?
hmm
Like that kind of brings us into her thought process, how she sees things.
yeah,
And then we cut to things with the villain,
yes,
um, and it didn't feel weird at all watching it,
hmm
but just thinking about it, it's a little strange to be so involved with one character because they really bring us fully into that world, and
yeah,
then completely juxtapose that. But again, I guess that makes sense because it only endears us to Katie more because we're like to the bad guy. We're like, who is this? Who's this person?
yeah,
We don't know them. They're not part of the Mitchell family.
hmm
But the animation style was excellent. I thought it was really cool the way that there were definitely some techniques, especially in the way that the characters were animated to Spider Verse, as
hmm
far as the shadowing and things like that, and the outlines. It was really interesting to see,
yeah,
and I felt watching it like, okay, because this is Sony, as
hmm
well as obviously Spider Verse was. I was like, okay, they as a studio are figuring out what their style is, and this is it, and this is what is going to separate their movies so much from Disney and Pixar is
hmm
this style. It's very distinct, it's very goofy. I think they're going to do really well with it, especially because with this one what we really get to see with all those added animated styles, outside elements that are,
yeah,
supposedly happening in Katie's head or whatever,
hmm
or not even that, but just an outward expression of what she feels.
yeah,
Um, it felt like a YouTube video,
yep,
which was intentional, of course,
hmm
but it was interesting to have that so prominent because YouTube is how people consume more media than any other way. I think, and the people that are growing up with that, that's what they're used to. So if they bring that into more of their movies, it'd be interesting because it'd have to make sense because it makes so much sense in this movie because our the character that we're following,
Mm-hmm.
she's a distinct she's an artist and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like that was like, hey, like YouTube,
Yeah.
we're doing it. It's us. We're on there. We're
Yeah.
YouTube. But aside from all that, this movie was so funny, man. I loved this movie. I absolutely loved this
Yeah.
movie. Hour and 53 minutes, a little
Mm-hmm.
longer than your typical kids movie,
Yeah, I was
just a bit.
surprised.
But it, I mean, it was paced so perfectly,
It
wasn't
takes
it?
its time, but it is pretty well
Yeah,
paced. It. Oh my god, sorry. But the yes, it is paced really well. Cause like there's like a moment that happens, and I was like, there's no way this is like the end. And then I checked, and I was like, if I had to guess, like, if this wasn't like your average like hour and a half movie, I would say this is like about the halfway like point. Like this is like gonna be like where like something happens, and then then you go to the third act. Um, and I checked, and it was exactly dead in the middle, and I was like, okay, yep. So like this movie has like plenty more to go, which
yeah,
is good. I think it like I didn't. The thing is like I feel like the movie isn't like one of those movies that flies by, but it does. You don't like you're enjoying
no,
the
I
time with
think
it.
that you are really along for the ride with these
Yeah.
characters. So
Hmm.
yeah, you're right. It doesn't feel rushed. It doesn't feel slow. It just feels like you're there with them.
Yeah.
And yeah, I like that they did kind of take their time with some stuff because it gave them the opportunity to flush out the character development a little bit more.
Yeah, which they
Which
definitely needed to do.
by the end of the movie, yes, some folks differ in pretty extreme ways.
Yeah.
And they didn't need to. It's interesting because they still don't necessarily focus on everyone individually a ton,
Hmm.
but we see them enough as a group that when they do each go through their unique transformation,
Yeah.
it makes sense.
Yes, I like that. No, not one character in this movie was like thrown to the wayside. Literally, not one main character in this movie was like just a 2D cardboard cutout. Like out of the main characters, every single one of them had an arc. Like big or small, there was an arc from beginning to end, and they did have growth, and they were like actual like characters. Like literally everyone in the family, um, the other the neighbor family to an extent. Not really, but kind of. That's kind of the joke though. And then the robots, not like they had a whole like so. The only one that I gotta admit, the only one that I was kind of disappointed with, and I think it was just because like I expected them to be in the movie more, but it's fine that they weren't. But Eric Andre's character was
Yeah,
in the movie a lot less than I was like kind of hoping. Um,
yeah. I knew you were gonna say that, and that you know what that kind of struck me because every time that we've mentioned this movie
mhm,
in the show, you've been like, "This movie starring Eric Andre, the new
mhm,
Eric Andre's in this movie."
mhm,
So I can see why that shifts your perspective a little bit
mhm.
because I knew going in that he was not like a star of the film or
Yeah,
whatever.
I
I get it because we're such big fans of his,
mhm.
obviously.
Well, but also like not even just like him. I just like because he was good in the movie. It was just like I felt like his character just obviously he's not a big part of the movie, which is fine. But like I thought his character like there was just like I don't know. I thought there could have been more done with his character, maybe, but it's tough. Like, I, out of all the main characters, because he is like in the movie like a decent amount still. Like he's in the beginning a good amount, and he's at the end a good amount.
I
Like,
guess so, but I think that he's really more there to serve. His character's really more there just to serve a purpose.
exactly. But that's what I'm trying to say, is that out of all the main people, even out of all the main people, he's like the one that I think like kind of does like not really get a whole like arc, along with
Well, we also, being presumably, a lot of what I mean, he does feel regret
that's
for
yeah,
his machines gun. And
true,
I mean, how far else are you going to take that in the
true,
time that we see in this movie,
true,
right?
yeah,
I mean, potentially he does grow a lot
mm-hmm,
after the fact, but I mean,
yeah,
we see him in this movie. He's kind of this like
mm-hmm,
pew pew pew, like I'm a tech guy,
mm-hmm,
and then he gets captured and really down on himself for
yeah.
creating robots that have taken over the world. And
I was I was also kind of underwhelmed by the so I really liked the villain in the movie. I thought the villain was good. And the voice acting was great. Olivia Colman did a great job. But with the theming of the movie, I thought that the I thought that there was going to be some sort of more of a resolution with that.
like a redeeming kind of
Yeah,
moment.
because like
Yeah.
because especially in the intro, you kind of they set you up to like have that kind of empathy towards that character.
Yeah.
And then it kind of doesn't really go anywhere. So I thought that was kind of a missed opportunity because like, and I'm not saying like every like you have like every villain has to be redeemed in a kids movie. Like I don't care. It's just like they literally set it up for that, and like I kind of didn't hate like this was kind of one of those villains that you don't like hate. Like you kind of understand why they are at the point they're at. You don't agree with it, but you kind of see where they are coming from in a sense.
Yeah.
So I thought it was kind of like a little too quick how that got resolved. I thought that at the end when they did that whole like end, not the end credit scene, but when they did the whole wrap up part, I thought something was going to be shown with that and with them and Eric Andre, and then that never really happened. So that was like a missed opportunity in my opinion. But other than that, I thought like everything else with the theming was really good. Like I love the messaging of this movie. I thought the story of this movie was really well done. I mean, this movie's about family, right? Like that's obviously like the whole main thing that encompasses this whole movie, and it's really well done. The thing that this plot reminds me most of, which a lot of animated movies go down this route now, but it's like it's still working because this theme is so universal, and it's family. I mean, Coco, Onward, the Raya, which we just saw. It's all about like I think a lot of these. I think these movies are coming out also at a very crazy time, at a kind of this weird time where that's even more emphasized. I think now. So I think that's interesting. So I really liked. So the theming still works, and I still love it. And this movie I think does bring in a unique spin on that plot and that idea. With how they use the animation, with how these characters are. Yeah, it's really cool. I want to give a shout out to Michael Rianda, who I fucking loved his character. He was so fucking funny. I thought he was so good. The dinosaur stuff was just amazing.
Oh yeah,
it was
that.
Just so good.
I mean, they showed in the trailer, but that phone book thing.
Yeah. Yep.
Phenomenal. I'd be like, I wish that kid would call me. I wish that kid would call me. I want to talk about dinosaurs so bad.
All day I want to talk about dinosaurs.
All day I want to talk about that. Noon till night I want to talk about that. Dawn to dusk.
And like, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Danny McBride.
Yeah, I'll be honest though. At first I was like, why is that grown man's voice coming out of that kid? Because it just sounded so. It sounded a little weird. Usually, you
like get used to it.
We're all aware of what's going on. But I was like, that's a little weird.
Yeah.
Like, that sounds like a grown man.
A grown ass man. Yeah, I agree. You know what's funny? I didn't even realize it was Fred Armisen until after the movie too. Um, that was doing the one.
One of the robot voice. Yeah,
Yeah,
that Beck Bennett is one, and he's also, I guess, he seems to be all the other robots. I
yeah.
love Beck Bennett so much, and those guys were so, this was a funny fucking movie, man.
It
This
was a
is a
pretty
movie.
funny movie.
The Furby thing,
That was
that's unbelievable.
insane.
I mean,
that was insanity.
that's
The animation in that part is also unbelievable. Like they take the the animation in this movie is really good all around. But when that part happens, it's like insane. It's insane. It's just insanity.
While we're talking about some other scenes, I think it was a great tool to do flashbacks through home videos.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Because that really resonates with Katie and who she is.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good way to fit that in there, kind of get around that without something like, she just like remembers all this stuff or whatever, like her dad remembers, like show through the videos.
Yep.
Makes it more real for us too, probably.
Yeah, I also just God, I just connected to so much of this movie, and I feel like a lot of people are. There's so many aspects to connect to, like, no matter like where you're at, like I feel like there's a character to connect to, right? Like I think that's like I just fucking love that about this movie. Also, who knew? Like when I say like almost all the main characters have a whole arc, big or small. Would I tell you that the dog has a fucking complete arc in this movie?
Love that.
The dog has a complete fucking arc in this movie, and it's insane, and it's great. Like, the dog is great, voiced by none other than Doug the Pug. You got it. Like, that's incredible. I loved the dog in this movie. So good. Yeah, it was just really fucking funny. The mom still, like, has her moment. Like, it's really phenomenal. And yeah, Danny McBride's character, like, even him, like, he has obviously a huge part in this movie. But like, I don't know, when they like get to the, that theme stuff, it really with his character, like, I don't know, they to not spoil anything with the pacing of this movie, it kind of like the way they pace it, it's not like super like, how do I explain it? It's predictable, but it's not like I don't know how to explain it, but it works really well. I just really liked a lot that this movie did. And yeah, I guess that's all there is. That's all that I got, I think, for this one. It's really good stuff.
Yeah, not a lot to criticize, really. The animation style is awesome.
Yeah, it's really good. Like you said, I think they're gonna find their this is a great like next thing out of Sony.
Yeah.
I mean, the next thing that is coming out from them, I think, is the Spider-Verse 2. That might not be the next thing, but that's definitely
probably some other stuff. I bet I have no idea. I guess
that's coming out like in the next. I think it's coming out 2023 or 2024.
Wow.
So it's coming out soon-ish. Maybe it's sooner than that, but I thought it was coming out later because that movie is gonna take a while to animate. So, but anyhow, yeah. So great stuff. I'm pumped to see. I'm pumped to see more of what this studio has to offer, because this style is so sick, and yeah, it's very funny stuff. Very funny stuff. Yeah, I think that's all I got. What do you think about rating this one?
Oh my gosh, it's tough.
Mm-hmm.
But it's got to be pretty high.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
What to give it? How many juice boxes?
Yeah.
How many juice boxes for the old Mitchells?
Mm-hmm.
I think I will give it. I'll give it a 9. 9 juice boxes out of 10.
I'll give it 8.5 juice boxes.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good. I don't know how often I'll watch. I think I will
Yeah.
rewatch this movie. Um, I think I will rewatch this movie. It's a really good movie. It, I think I, there is more like that. I think they could have done with some of the aspects, even like and not like super like where they have to go super in depth on some things, but like it's just some like quick things that I think they could have done a little bit maybe just fleshed out a little bit more to have like just even more of a punch. But and I also want to say I think some of the emotional parts of this movie don't hit as hard as I think they like are like go for. They hit hard.
No.
They're good, but like I think like I think this is like they're getting there. They're really getting there. I think the next
Here's what I think.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe not. But I they don't really hit us necessarily very
Mm-hmm.
hard, but I think that the movie makes it very easy to see how hard they hit the characters. So
Yes.
it still works.
No, exactly. It still works. I'm just saying like I can see like I don't know, when you're looking at this movie and you're looking at the other two movies that like are referenced like in the make like that from these studios like Spider-Man and Spider-Verse and like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, like I'm just seeing like the upward trend. So like it's I feel like they're like this studio like you said is making its name and
They're
it's
on the
gonna
rise now.
yeah.
Yep.
And they're gonna
Seems
be
to solidify that.
they're gonna be up there. So yeah, we'll they're gonna figure out that fucking how to make everyone fucking sob like soon enough.
Maybe they. I mean, I don't think that
Maybe
that's
they
what
won't.
they want to do.
Sure, maybe they won't, but I don't know. I'm just used to it at this point with animated movies. So anyhow, yeah, let's let's get into yeah, that was Mitchell's versus the Machines. Great
Netflix movie.
Great movie. Definitely check it out.
recommend.
Oh yeah, definitely check it out. Next one, also on Netflix, not necessarily a Netflix movie in any means, but
Yeah.
it is on Netflix for the time being. Oh geez. I am gonna give this my best shot.
Oh Jesus Christ! Everybody buckle up.
Here we go. I did
Okay.
practice a little bit. So this next movie we're doing is Shutter Island, 2010, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, and directed by none other than Martin Scorsese himself. And it has, I mean, the stars, there's even more stars, like Mark Ruffalo, Ben Kingsley, Max von Sydow, Michelle Williams.
Sedite.
What?
I'm just fucking.
Okay. Emily
Didn't
Moore.
mean to interrupt your flow. Sorry.
And yeah, so those are like the main people in this movie, and it's okay. So we follow Leonardo DiCaprio's character, who is this movie takes place in the 1950s, 1954. He is a detective partnered with Mark Ruffalo, sent to this island that kind of houses the criminally insane, called Shutter Island. Who Ben Kingsley is the head doctor at this facility. It's kind of like a mental facility. It's not just like an island with a bunch of like insane people running around. And he's basically sent to investigate this hospital because he got a lead from another source that there is some shady stuff going on at this hospital, and that also it might lead him to some answers about his past that he is trying to get kind of some, you know, he has his own goals like of revenge and stuff from his past and stuff that he's trying to figure out. So and the last thing I'll say is along the way some you know, as he's unraveling the mystery, some spooky things happen. And yeah, the only other thing I'll say is this is the other thing I wanted to point out. He also, like, with the information that he's trying to get from this place, he like wants to like bring down the like establishment of the
The mental facility.
the mental facility.
Yeah.
Yes, Shutter Island, because he thinks like what they're doing isn't very.
He thinks they're running experiments on people.
Yes.
On the patients in this lighthouse.
Like lobotomies and stuff like that.
Yeah, and but even well, he knows they're doing lobotomies for sure.
Yes.
But he thinks that, like they say, lobotomy a bunch of times.
So.
But he thinks that maybe they're playing around in there.
Yeah.
In the brain.
So that's I think I did a pretty damn good job, if I'm being honest. I didn't spoil anything, and I
nope.
Yeah. So there we go. That's the that's Shutter Island.
Yeah, I guess we won't spoil it maybe, but maybe at the end. But I think we
at
could
the
do
end
it without
we have
spoiling
to.
And just be like, do we have to though? I think that we can just talk about our reactions to
Okay.
Because I think
You're
a
right.
lot of people are familiar with this movie.
Okay.
And I think a lot of people are familiar with the twist.
Sure.
But if you're not, you might be able to tell that it's a very twisty movie.
Yeah, there is a lot of twists. I
Most
thought
of my notes are, so I didn't take my regular notes because we did this for the watch party.
Yes.
Still on YouTube.
Yes, and you can watch that.
This movie along.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on? Because I knew the twist going into this movie. I had never seen it before.
I thought I knew the twist going into this movie, but I didn't.
I knew what the twist was. And with that, I was obviously, you can tell in the first 5 minutes, knowing the twist, if you were to look back, there is no lack of clues. It's also so strange, the opening to this movie on the boat. Even that, you're like, okay, something fishy is going on because there's so much. Well, so let's take that moment for example. Trying not to give too, but there's a lot of phenomenal symbolism in this movie.
Oh yeah.
And the way things are shot, everything is a clue. This movie is so involved.
It's crazy.
Technically, it's awesome.
I gotta check actually if this movie got nominated for anything. It had to have.
It didn't. Not at the Academy Awards.
That's fucking crazy.
I don't know.
Jesus, how did this movie not get nominated? Oh my god. Okay, well anyway, that's insane. I thought after seeing this movie and how it was shot, it had to have gotten nominated for something.
I mean, that's the thing, right? This movie,
it's insane how good it looks.
I mean, lighting and everything, phenomenal, but just the photography of it all, compositions,
it's insane. The color grading and the color palettes, like
holy smokes.
The wardrobes, the sets, like every single fucking thing production wise is so insanely like perfect. Like it is insane how well it all comes together in that sense. It is nuts. Jesus, it's just crazy. Like, and it's mostly, like, practical effects, like, when they do these crazy, like, set-piece effects. Like, the main one that I'm thinking of is the one, and this doesn't really spoil anything, but it's the one where, like, the spotlight comes on, and the he's in the room, and the ash or the snow, whatever, is just it's covering, and it's actually, like, happening, like, in the shot, like, in the frame, like it's a physical effect. It's not like CG or any like weird like animation. Like it's actually happening. It's so sick. Like that is awesome.
Are you sure?
It looked really fucking real, dude. It looked like
Yeah, but I don't know.
it was
I
2010. I highly doubt.
Yeah, it was 2010.
Okay,
But
hold
all
on.
those pieces are so small. You have to. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can look it up, but because they use that set a couple times
Mm-hmm.
and they shoot it in basically the same way, so you could have covered everything in fake ash for real. Um, or you could just
It's
tough
tough.
to find. Yeah, it's a basically. I don't know if you'll be able to find it, but I'm not sure that was practical.
You're right. It might not have been. It's tough to tell. No, you know what though? In this shot, the shot where it does that wide shot, and I literally like, it's very brief,
Yeah,
but
I
I
know.
literally
Yep.
like. I literally like audibly like said something I remember on the watch party when that happened because I was like, oh my god, that's like the fucking best shot in the movie
It
so
looked
far.
awesome. Yeah.
It's very brief too. In that shot, you can see the. There might be some CG, but you can see the physical, like you can just tell by the way it's moving, like it is physical ash falling. I'm telling you, in that specific shot, you can tell that it's like because they do it, and I would bet $100 on it because they do it. I think they do it on purpose because it's supposed to look like, in my opinion, that shot is supposed to look like almost like a film set, and
Yeah,
the
that's true.
way the way it is falling is like you can
Somebody
tell that's
shaking it. Yeah.
yes, and the way it's interacting with the spotlight, where it's very intentional that you can tell where the spotlight's coming from,
Yeah.
like it just seems like it is practical, at least in that shot. I can see with the other shots, like in that scene where it might definitely not have been real, but that at least brief part it looks really real. I don't know, if it isn't real, then 2010 they had their shit together with
Well, they
ash
just. I mean,
effects.
obviously, that's making it look like a set. That's the purpose of that moment.
Yeah,
And so, of course, they would animate it to look like it was being shaken out of a bag.
I don't
So
know.
I'll take you up on that $100 bet. I think it's fake. So
I disagree. I don't know how we'll ever find
I don't
out,
know how
but
we'll ever find out either. But
but maybe I can find some like history on it later on. But
yeah,
anyway, it's just incredible. The contrast of colors. Oh my god. The way they use red in this movie is my favorite fucking instance of red in a while. It is so good. Because red is so overused in so many movies now. I feel like it loses its punch a lot of the times. Um, this movie, I mean, the last time I saw a movie use red as well as this, maybe The Shining.
mm,
Which there are some weird there's definitely some like Shining, like there's some Shining um uh not references
conspiracy
per se,
theories. Oh, references in this.
not references, but like visual, like I don't know, I saw some like similarities which I thought was cool. I
Yeah.
think they like Martin
Oh, for sure.
Scorsese is like, yeah, so that was
Well,
cool.
that was one of my even know the thing about this movie is even knowing the
Mhm,
twist going into it, I
mhm,
was convinced that, especially because I could tell that the twist you were thinking of was different than the one that I knew,
mhm,
that either they both were true or one of us is wrong.
yeah,
So whatever. So even but being pretty sure I knew what the truth was, I
mhm,
was still there were moments where I was like, maybe this is happening, and one
yeah,
what is going on.
yeah,
And yeah, one of my theories was like, I joked about it during the watch party. I was
yep,
like, we're gonna zoom out and see that Leo's
yep.
been there the whole time. Because I think there's literally a reference in dialogue. Somebody says to him like, "You've been here the whole time."
Yep. Yeah. Which, yeah, it's crazy. This movie is a puzzle. It's, and I was talking to my friend Dane about this movie because he actually, after I told him we rewatched it for the watch party, we're reviewing it. He watched it like the day after. Or no, he didn't watch that the day after. He watched The Prestige the day after. And the reason why he watched The Prestige is because I was like kind of referencing, I was like, this movie kind of reminds me in different ways, 2 different ways, both of the movies, like Nolan's Memento and The Prestige. And less so The Prestige, but there are instances of Prestige that remind me a lot of it. And the main thing, like Memento specifically, like with how the characters are and like how that whole plot is being uncovered, I thought was pretty similar. But with Prestige, I thought it was interesting because the similarities I saw there is like the fact that like that whole movie is a magic trick. Like that's the whole, like, that's not spoiling anything. That movie is literally structured like a magic trick, which is why I love it so much, is because it's just, it's really cool that like you're watching, like the movie itself is that self-aware, right? And the plot is that self-aware that the structure is a magic trick. Like, it's great. So I thought that this movie did a very similar thing with its structure and its plot, with how it just really takes you along. Like,
Sure.
you're questioning
Yeah, that
yourself.
makes sense. And it kind of has to be that way because obviously everybody knows what's going on except for Leo, which is who we're with, so we have no clue.
I mean, he doesn't even know what's going. Well, yeah, I can't say anything, I guess. It's just like, it's tough. It's really crazy. I remember when we were done with this movie, we were just like, Jesus Christ. Also, I gotta tell you, it has one of the most disturbing sequences. No, that's not true. It has a more, there is a disturbing sequence in this movie that the reason why it's so disturbing is because I don't think you're really, I don't know how to explain it. It's this, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but the disturbing sequence in this movie, it does set you up for it, and it's setting you up for it this whole time, and you're kind of waiting for it to happen, and they're alluding to it, and you're kind of dreading it because you know, you kind of at a certain point, you're like, okay, I know what is coming, but you don't really want it, you don't want to see it, and they fucking show you they don't fucking cut through any of it. They just show it to you from start to finish, and it is just hard to watch, and it is disturbing as hell. And I just don't know how to explain it other than that. There's just something about it that is like very disturbing and hard to watch. And like, I don't want to say it's like the most disturbing scene I've seen in a movie, because that's not true, but it is very disturbing. Like, it is a very disturbing scene. And like, I remember, like, I was just like, I would check in with your face once in a while when we were watching that movie, and it was just, that scene, we were just like, were just like, oh my god. We were both feeling the same, like, effect from that scene, where it's just like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what. Michelle Williams is dangerously good in that scene.
Oh my god. It's scary.
Yeah. She kills it.
She really does. It's fucking insane. It's insane. Everyone does a great job in this movie. Like,
the performances are phenomenal. Yeah. You know, Mark Ruffalo has ultimately what I think a very understated role to play.
Very hard role.
And he does it just so perfectly. I mean, he was honest. He's one of the most believable in it, which, you know, when you have a character that is like what Mark Ruffalo is doing, and there is certainly things that he has going on, but at the end of the day, like, who that character is,
I can't.
You can tell that he took it further than it needed to go, and that's what made it special.
I can't imagine what prepping for this role was like. Like, and we also talked about, like, this movie has, like, Inception, like, and this is the thing. Obviously, like, this movie came out before. Like, I'm not saying like this movie didn't copy anything, and if anything, Nolan like took inspiration. Well, maybe not with Memento, because Memento came out before this movie, but and Prestige did as well. But like with Inception, which came out after this movie, I just think like there are just like it's just crazy. Like, we've never seen Scorsese do a movie like this, I feel like. So like when you see this movie, it's just like, and Leo, especially with Leo in this movie too, and he's also in Inception, it's just like the parallels are just like interesting. Like, it's just hard to not compare it.
Well, there's such a displaced sense of time in this movie. Like, at one point, Ben Kingsley referenced something about it being 2 days.
Yep.
And you're like, is that right? Like, is that true? What have we seen? Like, you can't even trust. You can't
trust anything
when it comes to Shutter Island.
This movie fucked me up. I was like, after the movie, I was like just reeling and just talking through it, like just trying to like oh my god. And it's not like the movie ends and you're like, wait, so what happens? Like, no, this isn't one of those movies where it's like the ending is like, oh, what happens? Like, what happens? No, you know what happens. It's an ending that you understand everything by the end. I think, in my opinion, you understand basically everything by the end. But it's not really like, that's not really like the thing that gets you. It's just like how you get there, and like even by the end when you have all the answers in front of you, it's just like the movie does such a good job of convincing you of so many other things that you never, it really like keeps you going. Like, it's crazy. It's just insane. And it's so well shot, and god, the flashbacks and just like, it's fucking crazy. This is one of my favorite, this might be my favorite Martin Scorsese movie. Well, actually, let me double check his filmography real quick, just to make sure I'm not forgetting any. Because he has a lot of good ones.
It's also as dark as it gets, and as crazy as it gets. It was really fun to watch.
It was so fun. It's a puzzle.
Exactly, because you have so little idea of what's going on.
That's what I mean.
Fun to watch.
That's what I mean by like, that's how I felt when I was watching The Prestige the first time. It's just like it's really fun to watch because you're trying to figure out shit
you're
as
paying such close attention because you know that you don't know anything that's happening.
It's so sick. It's so cool. So that's like, okay. He has directed so much, obviously. Jesus Christ. Let's see. Wait. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen some of these. Like, I haven't seen Gangs of New York. I haven't seen The King of Comedy. I haven't seen Taxi Driver in a long fucking time. I don't know. It's tough. Goodfellas is probably the closest thing. Because Goodfellas is so fucking... Oh, The Departed! Ooh, that's tough. The Departed's really fucking good, huh? It's interesting. It's really interesting. I'd say I like this movie more than The Departed, though. But, I don't know. This is definitely one of my favorites of his, for sure. And I'm gonna have to sit on it a bit longer. But, at the moment, it's I just love this shit. I love this shit so much, and seeing it from Martin Scorsese, he just killed it. He just utterly destroyed it. The ending of this movie is one of the best endings in any movie, I think, that I've seen in a long time. Like,
it sticks with you. It really
sticks with you. It makes you think. It's not like, and the reason why I liked it so much is it's not like, okay,
it's not perfectly obvious.
Yeah, it's not perfectly obvious, but it's also not like,
but I guess it kind of is.
It's not like crazy with a lot of these movies, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but with a lot of these movies, there are purposely very open-ended endings, which is fine. But this movie doesn't. This movie's ending is not open-ended. It isn't. But it is still subtle, and it still hits
you. It
you.
still leaves you with questions.
Yeah, and it still fucking hits you, like, because it all leads to that moment, and when that moment happens, it's like, oh shit, like, this is like so, like, this says so much. This is such a satisfying, like, place, and it's sad, but it's like. It's so sad, but it's so, like, satisfying. It's like a fucking... And I say this every time. This is why I love Greek tragedy endings. It's like a fucking Greek tragedy. It's like a Greek tragedy. It's like a Shakespeare tragedy. It's just... It has that kind of ending where it just is so fucking perfect. It's just great. I love it. I fucking love it. It's great. It's great. I'm trying to think if there's the music in this movie was phenomenal. We haven't talked about the music. The music in this movie, God, I was like, first of all, the jump scares in this movie got me a couple times. I was pissed off. I was like, fuck. I was like, God damn it. The jump scares in this movie got me a few times. The music in this movie just fucking builds, like, at the like, the way it builds in this movie is insane. I loved it. I thought it was nuts. I just really liked the style of the music, like, the way they took it was really cool.
Fits perfectly, for sure. I mean, you hear it and you're like, yeah, we're on Shutter Island.
Yeah. The only...
the way they used the music was excellent.
Yeah.
And while we're talking about sound,
yeah.
The soundscape was spectacular.
Insane. God, the lighting was so good, dude. The scene with the oh, dude. The scene that got me the most was, and I think you could tell, with lighting, was when he's in, I mean, obviously, well, okay, this doesn't spoil anything. When he's in that one area where the lights start to flicker, and he has to use the matches, and that's literally all your fucking, like, and the lights flicker on and off, and then the director purposely leaves a lot of space in the background for something to be there. Like, that fucking was so insane. Like, I was just like, oh god, it's crazy. Like, psychologically, the shots in this movie are just so well done. Like, he obviously knew what he was doing in that shot. Like, he knew that he was leaving space for something to be there. Like, it was so stressful. Every time he lit that match, I was waiting. I was just fucking waiting. It was so stressful.
That's one of the best scenes in the movie.
Oh, it's easily. And the music builds in that scene, too. It's just like, done. And, oh, man, it's crazy. The actor in that scene, too, what, did we figure out if that was, who we thought it was?
The guy, yeah, that's the guy from Watchmen. Plays Rorschach.
Yeah, I just want to find his the actor's
I can
name.
I can never remember his name.
And
that guy's so good.
Elias Coates? Yeah. That's him. But wait, is he even in? It doesn't say is he in Watchmen?
Yes.
He's in Zodiac.
Let me make sure you're looking at the right guy.
I'm pretty sure this is the guy. Plays Latest.
No.
Yeah.
No. He's talking to that, like, Norman guy or whatever. Latest is the one that he's looking for. The guy in that scene is the one that gave him all the information prior.
Oh, yeah. Okay. You're right. Okay, then what was his name? Shit.
Jackie Earl Haley. Yeah, he plays George Noyce in Shutter Island.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, that guy's phenomenal.
I see now. Yeah, he is really good. God damn, he killed it. Yeah, he fucking killed it. And yeah, I know you said this already, but I gotta say it again. Um, fucking, uh, Michelle Williams just destroyed
Oh, the
every
smokes,
scene
yeah,
she
out of
was in.
nowhere.
Oh my god, I can't believe this movie wasn't nominated for anything. What even came out else in 2010? Was it like a crazy year?
Let's just look at, yeah, just look up what was, or I'll do it. Look up what was nominated.
2010.
But maybe, so I guess it would be the 2011 Oscars.
Oh yeah, 2011 Oscar nominations. Because we have like a little bit of time still before we, and we'll rate this right after. I just want to see. Okay, 2010s. Yeah, but this isn't helping me.
King's Speech, Inception.
Wait, this movie came out the same year as Inception?
I don't know, but I know Inception was nominated at the
Black Swan.
awards.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that is pretty tough. Black Swan was pretty, but that wasn't even nominated for. Okay, hold on. Okay, King's Speech was 2010. Okay, nominations: Best Picture. I just can't believe this wasn't Social Network,
Yeah, I thought so.
Black Swan, The King's
Extremely
Speech,
Loud
Inception,
and incredibly close.
The
The
Fighter,
Descending.
Toy Story 3.
Oh, we're looking at
Ooh.
different ones.
That's a pretty tough. That's a pretty tough. That's a pretty
Which
tough.
which
category.
awards are you looking at? Oh
I'm
yeah,
looking at
the.
Best
I'm looking
Picture.
at no which, like what like the eight. You're
2011.
looking at the 83rd Academy Awards.
I just looked up 2011 nominees and this showed up.
Yeah, I was looking at I think.
Black Swan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it was a pretty. Those are all pretty good movies, but still, oh, still, I think this movie. I can't believe. So, when did
I don't know. I can understand that it got.
Inception came out the same year as
Yeah.
this movie? That's insane. Of course, Inception overlooked this movie in the box office. Then, like, that makes sense. That's still crazy, though. I didn't think they came out the same year. That's insane. Leo must have had quite the time acting as these two characters.
Yeah, I wonder.
Jesus Christ. I didn't think they were the same time. I thought Inception came out 2 years after or something. Damn, this movie isn't as old as I thought it was. That's crazy. Wow. Well, I mean, I don't know what else there is to say. I think this movie should have gotten maybe more recognition on that front, but that's okay. I do think it's like if I had to. I don't know, man. It's tough. It's tough. They probably didn't want two very kind of similar movies. They're not similar, but you know what I mean. They probably didn't want to nominate both Shutter Island and Inception.
You might be right.
Which sucks, but that's crazy. I wouldn't say like you should. In my opinion, I wouldn't say you should pick one over the other because I think they're both great to watch for their own reasons. Like I would watch them for different reasons entirely. But anyhow, yeah, I think everyone, if they haven't seen this movie, should watch this movie. It's on Netflix. It's fucking crazy. If you want to get your mind bended, this is a movie to watch. It's so interesting that we talked about it like I was so scared going into it because I was like, damn, I think I spoiled myself, and I'm so glad I didn't spoil myself on this movie. Like, it honestly probably made me way more, like, it made the twist, like, even more unexpected, because, like, but,
Yeah.
I will say, like, halfway through the movie, like, I think we both started to piece it together. Like,
Well, you guessed out loud what was going to happen.
yeah, I was like, yeah, I did, and but I didn't know for sure, but I had like I was like maybe, like
Yeah.
I was like ooh. I was also half joking when I first said it, and then like as it went on, I was like, wait a second. It was crazy, just crazy. The monologues in this movie are so good too. Like Jesus Christ, everything in this movie's amazing. It, you know what the ending of this movie reminds me of, satisfying wise, and then we're gonna wrap this up. It reminds me of Knives Out, when everything kind of comes together.
Mm,
That's kind of like a similar idea where
I
everything
guess so.
just.
I think this is way more
Oh, I
satisfying than that, though,
agree.
just because
I
the
agree.
journey that it takes you on is,
I agree. I just think that,
yeah.
like that's the last time I've been like, ooh, like that. I don't know. Anyways, uh, you ready to rate this movie? I'm gonna rate it.
All right, toss it out there.
I really don't have any downsides for this movie. I think it's incredibly hard to find any flaws. And I think it still holds up insanely well. Oh, the only thing is some of the green screen I think you can see sometimes. That's it. Like I think there's some moments where you could tell like there was some like weird green screen stuff. And but other than that, this movie was pretty impeccable, and I'm gonna give it 10 out of 10 juice boxes.
Yeah, I think it's too good not to give 10 out of 10 to.
It's
Uh,
just God, just how it's shot, man. It's just
yeah,
it
'cause
sticks with you too.
it's just that the first time you watch this movie, it's really going to have a great effect. But you know, the downside of movies like this is that every time you watch it afterwards, it's not going to be the same. You disagree?
Sure, sure, but I don't think that means it's not worth rewatching. I think this movie has plenty. I mean,
Oh, sure.
it's the same with like in movies like I agree. Like with Inception or Prestige or any of these movies with crazy twists, like I
Yeah.
enjoy them almost more the more I watch them because I appreciate them more. Same with like Fight Club. Like these movies, cuz the directors put things in the movie that you
Right.
most definitely won't see the first time
That's
around.
true. That, you know
So,
what? That's a good point because so this is why it's a little different for me because I knew what the twist was going to be.
mhm,
My first and second times watching it were kind of combined,
that's true.
which was
Yeah.
actually really cool. So yeah, you know what? All right, I got you. Yeah. But
So,
anyways, 10 out of 10 for
yeah.
Shutter Island. It's a
Yeah.
must watch, I would say.
Fuck yeah, it really is. It really is. I yeah, highly recommend watching this movie. Very good stuff. And yeah, that is the show this week, everybody. Hope you have enjoyed. Definitely, if you missed the watch party, you can still watch it. And there will be more coming up. The next one we're gonna see, but there might be some cool stuff going on with the next one. So stay tuned for that, and yeah, follow us on our socials. We are at film_juice on Instagram. We are also at filmjuicepod on Twitter, and yeah, you can if you're watching on YouTube, maybe catch us on Spotify if you're on the go. Or Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts. If you're listening to us, to our lovely voices, maybe check us out visually on YouTube, because we got some cool stuff going on. You can see us moving our hands around and me swaying in my chair. And the last thing I'll say before we wrap up the show is this is what I was trying to say. Before we wrapped up Shutter Island. Also, this movie has like one of the most memorable and like best lines to stick with you in any movie. Like that last line is just wow. Like holy shit. I still think about that line. There's so much in that line. There's so
Well,
much in it.
in context,
Yeah.
it's unbelievable.
It's fucking crazy, dude. Anyhow, yeah. That's the show this week, everybody. Hope you yeah. And as always, my name's Joe Dorado.
And I'm Andrew Canada, and we'll see you next time at the movies.
Woo.